The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
It's a Wednesday edition of Talking Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, in the SWBC studios. Welcome in, everybody. We've got the whole cast and crew ready to rock this morning for you. Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Isaiah Stanback, Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. Glad you are with us. Today is, of course, a Wednesday, which means we're previewing the Dallas defense going up against the what was that team's name from Detroit?
Oh,
the
Leons.
That's pretty.
8 miles?
Yeah, maybe.
The 8 miles.
Leonis?
The Leones?
Leonis?
We're going up against Leonidas in the 300.
That's pretty much what it is on the offensive side of the ball. They've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've got Jahmyr Gibbs and Jared Goff and Montgomery and offensive. Yeah, their offensive line is nasty. Nasty. But there's a lot to break down. Plus, today is the official debut. I know we've talked science plenty of times, but today is the official debut of the Wednesday segment of Lab Coat. And
Science!
I was kindly reminded this morning that it is not Lab Coat with a C. It is Lab Coat with no C. With
No
K.
C.
That is correct. Lab coat with a K. Damn right.
I like it.
Yeah, it was going to make the debut of that today, and that's going to be some fun. It's going to be some fun.
And then we'll do a peer review of his lab coat as well. You know?
Yeah, like in the science community. Like
Exactly.
whenever you
Completely open to that.
We're going to break out the periodic table, and my hypothesis will be
I want to see how many of these you can keep going. Come on, how many more you got?
the hell with your science.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, he started to pause, and you're running out now.
Yep.
You're
Hitting the end of the rope.
Chemistry.
He was hoping I'd tap in and kind of
Bunsen
save him. I was
burners.
like, no.
Buster
He's like, no.
Bunsen burners.
No.
Oh man.
Yes.
But yeah, no goggles today, but we'll get there.
Yeah, I actually I forgot them. They are upstairs at my desk.
Oh.
I just didn't get in time to.
I mean, Kyle
hop
Youmans
up
has
there.
been clocked at a at a measly minute and 23 seconds.
Measly.
Remember we went to the combine and you ran that 40? Yeah.
What was your 40?
It wasn't timed. It was a race. It was me and Alex Lilly.
He took Alex. Sorry, Alex.
Oh, yeah?
Took him? He took
right.
He took
Yeah,
You better have.
And Alex is a
better
runner,
ask around.
too, at that.
Yeah.
But we talk a lot about separation. The separation was there.
Oh yeah.
Power.
Yeah.
Acceleration too. My 10-yard split was nasty.
If I did that, my hamstring would turn into like an 8-hour ribeye that just like falls apart. Yeah.
You see it on all the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
All right.
Disintegrates.
News and notes. There's
Yeah.
plenty to talk about because we had the Jones family talking multiple times yesterday.
we did.
After the show. And then lots of little sprinkles of updates around.
We do. So, first and foremost, actually, let me get this moved over here.
I have a news and notes, too.
What's that?
Jump off.
I went to the state fair yesterday.
Oh,
Love going to the
Big
state
Tex.
fair. So I want to know, am I the only person? All right, I want to
Probably.
Am I the only
Yes.
person
Yes.
The
that
answer is
goes to the state fair and plays the exact same game to win prizes for their kids?
I mean, are you winning?
I mean, yeah.
Like you know,
Is it
going
like a
in.
football throw?
Exactly, it's a football throw.
Okay, so first of all, you're cheating. So
It's not cheating. That's my question. Is that
That's
cheating?
cheating.
First
That
of all,
is
you're
so
cheating.
cheating.
That's cheating.
I stand where they tell me to stand. I throw it where they tell me to throw it. You have to hit all three. You get 3 throws. You have to throw it in one basketball hoop, another basketball hoop, and another basketball hoop. So all 3 in a row. And if you miss one, you win a smaller prize.
That's like me with the baseball to a lesser degree because I didn't play MLB. You play NFL, so you are really cheating. But that's like me going to one of those baseball carnival games where you just all you gotta do is hit the bullseye.
Yeah.
Right. Every single time. Boom.
It's
boom,
like
boom,
me in the
boom,
hot
boom.
dog eating contest, dude.
You're a cheater. Cheater.
King Glizzy, they call me.
Oh, wow.
That's like me in the
That's quite a name you got there.
me in the guess your weight game. Whenever you step up on the
Dude,
scale.
I do that too. So when I go to Six Flags, that's what I do. I go to the guess your weight game.
You are so lame,
Bro,
This is super lame.
Pumpkin eater.
My
I pay
my
the same
respect for you
fee.
is declining as we
is
go.
fair.
I pay the same fee.
I mean, you only play games you can win, you know?
Yeah,
I'm a winner.
You got to challenge.
Amen.
them.
I'm a
Yeah,
winner.
because you only play games
I'm
you
a
can
winner.
win.
So my question is two things. What is the animal you guys want?
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and
what is
hold
it?
on a second. And two, did you do it at the end of the day because you have to carry everything around?
My
the
daughter
whole
had to carry it.
time?
So we went and got our food first because I didn't want anybody to get hangry. Okay, and then after food, then we did games, and then after games, we did more like the walking through the cars and all that jazz.
yeah.
I bet that's cool.
But here, I'm gonna give you one shot here.
Was it a
Beamer.
big one?
Look at this.
Yeah.
is that a
that's
capybara?
funny.
Yes, it's my daughter's favorite.
Is the camera catching that?
It's my daughter's favorite little animal, capybara.
That ain't a little
That
animal.
and fluffy
ain't- yeah,
cow.
that ain't
No,
little.
it's massive.
So she had to carry that around
She
for
carried
like
around
3
the whole
hours.
day. Doggone right. I said, this is how we used to carry you around. It's pretty cool.
Capybaras are like real animals.
They
right?
are.
I'm gonna look this up on Pro
Yeah,
Football
Josh.
Focus.
Josh doesn't believe that capybara is real.
Capybara is a
Did you
ginormous.
say you're looking it up on Pro
Rodents.
Football Focus?
Yes.
But so I'm
They
so
always
I'm
have
lame
the
for that.
answers.
So I think.
Am I lame for
well,
playing the
here's
same
the
game?
thing.
Yes.
I think you just told on yourself. So now, whenever you go back to the Texas State Fair, they're going to have Isaiah's face right next to that game.
Yeah.
And you're banned from that game, like you're blackballed, because you told on yourself. So now they know.
So I just go to the baseball one after that.
Okay. Oh.
Maybe one of these years, obviously not this year, we should do a whole podcast
From the
State Fair?
That would be awesome.
Listen, Beamer, I would be all for that. All the Black Rifle
That-
coffee
yeah.
that would get us out
That'd
there,
be-
we will
that'd
make it
be-
happen.
Hey, I don't
That'd be
think there's
excellent.
one place you can go to outside of a Cowboys game where you will see as much Cowboys apparel as you saw as the State Fair.
They rock it
Oh
out
yeah.
there.
That's
Oh my goodness!
No doubt about it.
I got stopped numerous times for people listening to our show. So all the shout out
Oh,
to
cool.
all the fans that I saw yesterday walking around. I appreciate y'all saying what's
Love
up,
that.
grabbing a couple pictures. But yeah, it was awesome to
And
get
none
that
of
Talkin'
you
Cowboys
stopped
stuff.
Isaiah from cheating at these games.
Not cheating. I
Which
tried.
makes them accomplices.
I paid my fee.
You're complicit in his cheating.
Had the same
just so you
attempt as everybody else.
This is fair.
This is
had a
very.
All it takes for evil men to prosper is for good men to do nothing. Okay, you are complicit by not stopping him in his cheating.
It's very much so like
ridiculous.
peaked in high school energy is what it is. That's
ridiculous.
what it feels like.
Dang.
That's what it feels like. Oh, I played football once. I'm gonna go win this game.
I got smiles
he
out of
just-
my kids every year.
Did Kyle just Al Bundy you?
I don't know.
Did he just poke high you?
I asked you- so you know what? To be fair, you get 3 throws. On my first one, I hit none. My first attempt, I hit none. I was 0 for 3.
So not only were you
Sounds
lame,
like your career.
Right? Oh,
Oh, let's go from the back.
Yes, science.
hey, I'm bringing my jewelry tomorrow.
Damn, Beamer. I had to just move locations.
Whoa.
Oh my
I had
god.
to move locations after that one.
Oh,
Hey,
Isaiah.
We can mark that one.
Hey, so
Oh goodness!
no, see, I
gracious.
asked my son. I said, "Did you think that I was gonna go over?" He was like, "No, I just knew you were warming up." I said, "That's my boy.
Okay.
warming up's my boy."
Damn, Beamer tried to catch a
broke the chair.
body. Okay, news and notes.
Real quickly before that, I just would
not
like
Robert
to.
Saleh.
I
I'm
would
not
like
Robert
to
Saleh.
say. In memoriam of Isaiah Stanback, August 16th, 1984 to October 9th, 2024. He was 40 years old.
Absolutely.
Beamer just put him in a body bag.
The Isaiah haters are gonna love this episode.
Okay.
Foul
Oh,
charges.
absolutely. That's
Foul
okay.
charges.
Okay, I'll just wear my jewelry like this.
No, listen, folks, Isaiah haters and Josh haters and Kyle haters and Nosy haters, we can have fun at each other's expense.
Facts.
But don't come for the fam.
Ooh, don't do it.
Don't do
Don't
it.
do it.
Do it.
Don't do it.
This
This
family-
100%
this family barbecue right here. This
brotherhood.
is
Yeah, 100% brotherhood. We
I
can
have a
laugh at
huge
each other, but
family.
you can't.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. So news and notes. We're actually going to flip this because I did see the rundown because of course. But I'm going to use the last thing as a
Yeah, go for
segue.
it. Yeah.
So first of all, let's talk about who they worked out yesterday. The Cowboys. They worked out a quarterback, Max Duggan. Let me go ahead and make this clear. They accepted him on the field as someone to throw to the wide receivers who they were working out. And it made sense for Dugan, who was in the area, to try to get in front of the eyes of the Cowboys scouts.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win, right? They're not working him out to sign him. But down the road, if they see something now and maybe in 2025, they might want to check back in. Who knows? It's one of those things. But it worked out for Dugan because he got himself in front of some Cowboy scouts. Wide receivers, they worked out Denzel Mims, which is the headliner.
Second Bears.
So to speak. Chase Colta and Dante Pettis. And that's a name that fans are familiar with, Dante Pettis.
I'm familiar with them.
Yeah.
I'm
sure you are. I'm sure you
can run.
So, and of that wide receiver group, and Seth Williams as well, of that wide receiver group, they agreed to terms to sign Seth Williams to the practice squad that is expected to be made official. So, no deal for Mims, Cota, and Pettis as it stands. Seth Williams is expected to join the practice squad. Also worked out several guys on the edge. Shaka Toney, as Cowboys fans will remember, he spent some time with the Cowboys in training camp before he was waived injured, and they took another look at him yesterday. No deal agreed to there, but they did agree to a deal with Luigi, not Mario's brother. But we're going to have some fun with that. Luigi Villain, if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. He agreed to terms to join the practice squad probably as early as today. And just some background really quickly. Seth Williams is out of Auburn. He's a former 6th-round pick of the Denver Broncos in 2021. He went on to spend his 2022 season and some of his 2023 season on the Jaguars practice squad. So not a lot of experience there, but they see something there with him. And with Luigi, I like saying the name now because I don't want to play Mario Kart. He began his career. Yeah, there we go. The coins. I caught what you were doing, Bieber. He started his collegiate career at Michigan. So 2 seasons at Michigan. Not much there to speak on, but he transferred to Wake Forest for his 3rd year of eligibility, where he racked up 9 sacks. Had a breakout season for Wake Forest and the Demon Deacons in 2021. Played right in front of Kalen Carson. So there's a little bit of a connection there. He was a 3rd-round pick in the CFL in 2021 before joining the Vikings as an undrafted guy in 2022. That was the post-Mike Zimmer era, obviously. 2023, spent time between the Panthers and the Browns practice squad as recently as earlier this year. So some edge help they're hoping there. So practice squad for wide receiver Seth Williams and Luigi Villain. Or Villain, I'll ask him today.
I believe it's Villain. I'm trying to remember from the draft show.
Yeah, I think so as well. Bigger news is that, well, number one, Carl Lawson is expected to be moved to the active roster. The corresponding move is expected to be Marshawn Nealon to injured reserve. That could happen as early as today, but we'll see when that transaction takes place. It seems inevitable, though. Deron Bland. Okay, I guess I'm going to be buying me a Big Mac.
He's out next, like this week, right? Like going into the bye week, taking some time.
Let me get my Big Mac money together because I might be having to take a bite out of that. Ooh. So yesterday, going off of what Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones had said, they framed Deron Bland's chances of taking the field against the Detroit Lions as very slim. As close to slim to none as possible because they want to see him practice. Hasn't had a team practice since late August before he suffered the foot injury that required surgery to repair. Team executive Stephen Jones, however, speaking yesterday, said that there's a quote-unquote great chance that Deron Bland takes the field against the Detroit Lions. Now, he did qualify that by saying it would be limited in a limited capacity, maybe a handful of snaps. But that's what they're looking at right now. So my question, which will not be answered until today's injury report, tomorrow's injury report, will they activate his 21-day window? Will they not? My questions aren't going to be answered until I see what I see. But we've suddenly gone from little to no chance to a great chance per Stephen Jones.
In one day.
In one day.
That's crazy.
That's a significant jump.
That is significant jump without him having practiced yet.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That window has not been open.
It has not been open.
It has not been.
And even if
initiated.
it's open today, again, he has not practiced.
He could play all the way up until the 49ers game, right?
Yeah. He has not practiced since late August. So this is an interesting situation.
What are you laughing at?
It's like a living color segment. Things that make you go,
That's also a legendary record.
I don't think it's as surprising when you look at the receiving weapons that the Lions have. I think.
No, I'm just talking about the communication between
gotcha.
executives in this organization in regards to the health of some Pro Bowl player. Slim.
All pro.
Slim to none? Oh, no. Actually, great.
Either that or maybe they're just trying to play games.
Oh,
like
we play games.
Yeah, you're playing a little gamesmanship going into the weekend.
Really?
Don't play games.
Dan Campbell
win,
just has it in the side of his head, like, oh, maybe they will have that All-Pro back
So
out
that you
there
could
this week.
Possibly have all 3 of your starting cornerbacks ready to rock.
Kalen Carson was another one that has a good shot to play this week. He could come back. They thought he may have had an opportunity to do it
Mr.
last week.
5-point hardness himself.
I don't know, man. I'm still in a situation like this when 2/3 are saying one thing and 1/3 is saying the other
another
thing, and one of those 2/3 is Jerry Jones, and the other 2/3 is the head coach who's kind of making the. Yeah, I still don't think he takes the field.
Yeah.
I don't, especially because you make an excellent point. Kalen Carson has been close to returning 2 weeks now, right, from his shoulder injury. So if Kalen Carson, based on that arc alone, Kalen Carson we'll see, should be available. And if he is available, why push the issue with Duran?
As long as AO's
For
out
a
there.
handful of snaps.
Ayo
No, I'm dead serious.
legitimately has played
dead
very
Monty?
well.
Yeah, Monty.
Owawarie.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm like really.
He's played
Amani
really well.
Owawarie.
Yeah.
He's played really well.
You've been practicing that. I had to practice Igbenogany.
In the mirror the whole time.
He's playing well out there, too.
He is playing well.
But,
so that's what I mean.
Noah
like,
Igbenogany?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's playing well.
Could it? I mean,
He's in Washington, right?
I guess the argument
Contribution.
from a Stephen Jones standpoint, because it's 2 different framings. From those that see Stephen Jones' standpoint, maybe they're looking at it as, oh, well, let's get him, Duran, to knock off a little bit of rust before San Francisco in a couple weeks thereafter. And I mean, again, I can see that.
Yeah.
Risk reward, though.
He did say it was in a limited fashion.
Yeah, he said
he didn't
handful.
say we're going
No, he didn't-
100%.
yeah,
Deron
handful.
Bland is it. I would love for them to split snaps, him and Carson. I would love for that.
What-
and then
what
Owawarie there
split
too.
are you looking at, though?
50-50. So that
That's
gives
not a
me
handful.
about
That's not
no,
a handful.
that's a significant chunk. But
Yeah.
it's if it's 50-50, that's probably what? How many plays is Detroit going to run?
Well, you hope they don't.
Let's say
want it to-
50 plays. So that's 25 plays each. I think you could make that happen. So I think he does play. I think he is available on Sunday, and I think it's something that you got to look forward to
We don't
going
know,
into the weekend.
and we
But
won't know. It's just interesting.
we'll get a better idea today. I
Yeah,
think.
at the end of today, you'll have a really.
Well,
good
I mean,
idea.
I do expect that today, regardless of anything, they're going to activate his practice window today. That's just my belief. And maybe it happens, maybe it not, maybe it doesn't. But all things considered, I think it's time to activate his practice window. They said that they would revisit or visit with doing so after this game with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They said that was their plan the entire time. So I think that happens. Now, to Josh's point, we won't know really if what Steven said has as much traction as what Jerry and Mike are saying. Probably until Friday, to be
You think
honest
so?
with you. I think it'll be Friday. I need 3 injury reports. I need to see 3 injury reports.
If he's coming back and they're activating the practice window, does he pop up on the injury report?
He would have to be reported on the injury
It would
report
be on there,
because
too?
he participated in practice. And if you participate in practice, then and you're dealing with any type of injury, you have to show up on the injury report.
Even if you're like designated for return off of IR?
You're still on your practice.
Okay.
Your practice window is open. If you are on the practice,
I'm just trying to remember. This is the first time somebody's come back
If you're
this year.
on the practice field, then you are subject to being reported
Got it.
about as far as your health is concerned.
That makes sense.
What if it says full participation on today's report for him? What if? Just curious.
Then it starts leaning more towards Steven. What Steven said. I mean, that would be.
Would that be the first indicator for? I know you said you need to wait
it
till
would be
Friday.
the first indicator. The bigger indicator would be if it was full on Thursday.
Thursday full on.
Thursday is the full blown shell, longer practice. They go hard at it. So if it was full today, Wednesday, that would be an indicator. The bigger green light for me would be if he was out there Thursday, team reps, full participant. Okay, all right. And then at the end of the day, I don't believe that, just based on the history, I don't believe that Jim and Britt would rush a guy back.
No.
So if he's not
Then it's not
cleared, or if he's even teetering on that line, I think it's a no-go. So if he is on the field on Sunday, then I'm just going to put my hands up and say, hey, Britt and Jim, they cleared him.
Trusted.
Dr. Dan Cooper cleared him. Let's go. But I don't want to see a 50-50.
Best training rooms in the league.
I bet you that's what it was. I bet you that's what it'll be.
15 to
Maybe-
get his,
maybe
15
it'll
to
be-
get his feet wet.
It'll be 15%.
No,
so
15 reps.
snaps.
Yeah, 15
That's
snaps
fine.
to get his feet wet.
Yeah, get his feet wet, and then you mix up maybe the rest with Carson and Owawarie. You
Yeah,
can kind of get both of those
absolutely.
guys out there.
Absolutely.
All right, that does it for news and notes. But coming right up, we've got a little bit of lab coat.
Ooh.
What's on the docket today, sir?
Oh, we're talking about how pressure can either burst pipes or it can make diamonds.
Ooh, I
We're
like
talking
it.
pressure rates.
Talking pressure rates when Talking Pressure Rates returns here on Talking Cowboys.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company. This portion of the show is brought to you by Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Quaker Oats, trusted since 1877. Abe said, "Isaiah, tell all the haters to hate the game, not the player."
Hey, man, I ain't tripping.
Cheater.
I ain't tripping. Hey, let's hear it.
You know, if you would have maybe hit one of those whack-a-mole games at the Star or at the fair, apparently you're not, because you're trying to whack this fly and you've missed every time.
Bro, I got it last time. It's gone.
Right. We need some DeMarvion Overshown skills in here, because this fly needs to be swatted. And he definitely has practice in doing it.
I'm telling you, if he would have done the whack-a-mole games, he might have hit the fly.
I'm not going to be put on this island. Everybody has a game that they go to, whether you go to an arcade or whether you go to the state fair, or whether you go to the Six Flags. There's a game that you go to that you're like, I'm confident in this game.
I'm nice at ping pong.
Tell me I'm not. When you guys go to the arcade and you play for tokens,
100%.
You play for tokens. What do you going to? You're going to the air hockey. Are you cheating because you're racking up more points on the air hockey? Or I'm going to Papa Shot.
I didn't play professional air hockey.
It's not cheating.
It's not my fault that you didn't seek out that career, Kyle.
Are you shooting on those oval rims? Stop it.
Oh, bro, I'm talking about the Papa Shot in the arcade. No, not at the state fair. That's rigged. Yeah. No, but no, it's not. I mean, we go to the state fair.
It's not at all.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're a sponsor.
We go to the arcade. I'm going straight to Papa Shot. That's my game.
Yeah.
I look at the top score and I said, I'm coming for you.
I'm going to the Jurassic Park arcade. Go. You know what I mean? One of those guys.
I may have a game to go to.
What is it? Oh,
come on, bro.
Cornhole.
Exactly.
By the way, Abe said
Freaking
also
Olympian.
Beamer from the top cage.
Top
of the cage.
You cannot tell me if they had a cornhole game at the state fair where you could win a prize for
Beamer
your
be
kids.
there all day.
Beamer would be there winning freaking stuffies all day long for his kids.
You talk about a wanted poster for a specific arcade game, it would be Beamer with the cornhole.
Michael Olympio on Twitter just tweeted me and said, "Chris reminds me of the Wizard of Oz all these years." He's like,
sitting back with
he's like, I've been hearing his voice periodically, but I've never seen him.
That's awesome. That's funny though. He's getting recognized at the games now, like even at away games. Like, hey, Beamer.
Good. It's about time the recognition.
It's because of the shirt.
Beamer.
Yeah. It's because of the shirt.
It's because of the hand of God.
The hand of God shirt. They recognize the hand.
Yeah.
We forgot to wear our shirts for Victory Monday.
It's time for a little bit of science.
Lab coat, ladies and gentlemen. Bring me in, Beamer.
Yes, science.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so did some digging as I'm preparing for Science Lab this week, which is going to drop tomorrow morning, Thursday, on DallasCowboys.com. Shameless plug, check that out. And what I came across, I wanted to see what the Dallas Cowboys have been doing recently and what Dak Prescott has been and has not been able to do recently when they're allowing undue pressure on him. So when the offensive line is not performing at its peak or even near it, what does that do for the offense? Because we know that can stall the rushing attack, and then that leads to a stalled passing attack because teams defensively don't have to account for the rushing attack. So what do? You don't add one to the box. You go split safety and stuff like that. So the magic numbers here for the lab coat today are 1 and 35, folks. 1 and 35. When Dak Prescott is sacked one time or fewer in a game, his career record, including the playoffs, is 43 and 13. One or fewer sacks. When he is sacked 1.5 or more times in a game, his career record drops to 35 and 35. 1. So that's the number to keep an eye on. If you're the offensive line for the Cowboys, if you can keep Dak Prescott mostly clean out, obviously this is true across the board for any team.
Sure.
But more specifically, Dak Prescott thrives when he only gets touched one time in that backfield. He can dice up offenses. Went deeper into it, and I wanted to see, okay, well, what does that break down for? What does the Cowboys what have they been doing from a pressure rate allowed? This team, through the first 5 games, and they have, keep in mind, this is with an upgraded offensive line, and BB is playing well, and Guyton, he's had his struggles, he had his flashes, it's a mixed bag. He needs to grow, but he's learning. Pressure rate through the first 5 games is a little under 22%. Okay, to be more specific, sorry, Jerry, I got to do this because this is how, Jerry Madelon, this is how close the margins are. 21.8% pressure rate allowed through the first 5 games. That is the highest pressure rate allowed through the first 5 games since the 2020 season. Mike McCarthy's first, which was also a season that ended in tragedy in Game 5. Knock on wood, that's not where I'm going with this, but point being, in the disaster season of 2020, that wasn't even as much pressure as what Dak Prescott has been up against in 2024. It's 21.7% pressure rate through the first 5 games of 2020, 21.8 through these first 5 games. Keeping in that same tune, in 2020, he was hurried 23 times. In 2024, he's been hurried 21 times. In 2020, he was sacked 10 times. In 2024, he's been sacked 12 times. So sacked more often.
Not good, Bob.
Not good, Bob. But here's where it really jumps out. He's been sacked more often, pressured more, hurried nearly as much with, 22 fewer blitzes.
Wow.
What is the? You know what I'm going with this, right? Teams are getting home on Dak Prescott more often than they did in the pressure-packed season of 2020 with fewer blitzes. 35% fewer times per game teams are blitzing Dak Prescott, and they're getting home without bringing that extra guy.
Yeah.
The front 5 has to improve going forward, especially now as we start to turn the page to the Detroit Lions and that defensive front, and you know who that defensive front features, right? If you can keep Dak Prescott clean to the point where 1 sack or fewer per game, and you have to figure out how to block better up front, wherein make teams bring that extra blitzer, because he thrives against the blitz, right? That's going to take a guy out of coverage. That's going to help the passing game. One thing handles the other thing, handles the other thing. So lab coat for today is the Cowboys' pressure rate, although the offensive line has been upgraded, they're taking strides. Looking at these numbers, it's not just Tyler Guyton either. As a whole, as a unit, we talk about Zach Martin taking a couple steps back.
Yep.
Terrence Steele struggling, right? They need to come better cohesively and protect this quarterback. Otherwise, you're going to continue to see struggles because Dak Prescott, when you hit him when you sack him 1.5 times or more, his career record is 500. But when you don't, he's dog walking teams.
I have to ask though, is this part of Dak not necessarily being a dual threat quarterback anymore? Like he's much less.
Right here in 2020, before Dak got injured, his yards per scramble were 8.2. Okay, his yards per scramble haven't been above 6 yards since the injury. Right now, they're about 5.7.
Okay.
So he's also, to Josh's point, he's also not getting out of the pocket as often as he needs to. He's doing more of that now than, let's say, 2021 when he came back from the injury.
Do you want him to get out of the pocket?
I want him to take advantage of what the defense has given him. If you see green, take green. Take green and then get down.
But how many times is a defense going to give you all sorts of green?
It might just be 3 times a game.
Yeah.
an example would be the sack fumble against the Steelers.
Sure.
Okay. If the protection broke down, but if he steps up, one, he avoids that sack. Two, gives him an opportunity to either keep an eye downfield for another split second to find somebody, or the linebacker at the secondary is like 6 yards away, right? Take that 5 and get down, right? So to Josh's point, it also goes to Dak Prescott wanting to stay in the pocket more often.
Yeah, it kind of feels like he's taking that out of his repertoire.
I agree. And I think that, not I think, but following the devastation of his injury, and he admitted it.
Oh, yeah.
He was conscious
Been
of it.
very open
He was
about it.
conscious, and that makes sense.
Of course.
Isaiah, coming out of an injury like that. But he never really got back to that. Right?
Can I add another layer?
Yeah, go with it.
Add it.
Just to show this to Kyle, but you're talking about the pressures being allowed, right?
Yes.
And the pressure getting
Pressure
back to
rate
Dak
being allowed, yeah.
Exactly. So the offensive line obviously is not playing as cohesively or as efficient as they once have in the past, right? Well, which is kind of odd about that. When Dak has no pressure, he is the third worst in the NFL right now in terms of passing rating. I'm gonna say that again.
Please
come on with it.
When the offensive line does their job, and everybody who takes part in the blocking scheme, tight ends and running backs included, when they give Dak time, he has the third worst QB rating in the league at 83%. Now, when he has pressure, and they're not doing their job as efficiently, he's the best in the league with 124.5% QB rating. So the question is, do we really want to protect?
Hold on. Here's the missing variable, and I love that.
Yeah.
God, I love you guys. I love that. Here's the missing variable. I'm not saying let him get pressure. Just don't let him get sacked.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's not the pressure rate per se as much as it is when he gets sacked.
He's actually taking
when he
to
gets
the turf.
when he gets sacked now, because there's a difference between pressures and sacks. Pressures are disruptions and they count absolutely. But a pressure that doesn't get home allows a quarterback who can extend a play, who can keep his eyes downfield, who has receivers like CeeDee Lamb. You can make something out of nothing, potentially. But when you sack him, now you put a guy behind the chains.
Yeah.
Right. And it just makes it that much more difficult, which then makes him press for the next thing. It's 3rd and long, and, playbook kind of, and they know what's coming. It's not a run if it's 3rd and 17, right? Or maybe it's a draw because you concede. But to Isaiah's point, it's funny because, and this is a perfect example of how the numbers don't always agree.
Yeah, numbers don't tell the whole story.
Right, but there's always something right there that's staring you in the face. So if you happen to allow, two things are true. One, do your job as best you can. Don't allow the pressure because you're getting paid to not allow the pressure. But if you're allowing the pressure, now you look at Dak and say, get out of the pocket.
Well, I think there's always a cart before the horse sort of thing whenever it comes to this stat, because the pressure, especially when you're losing and things are going wrong, the pressure's going to come and a team can back off. Take the Baltimore Ravens game, for example. For 3 quarters, they got after Dak Prescott. He still ended up with 300 passing yards. He still ended up with completion percentage. And all of those things together, you take a couple of those, throw the turnovers in there and sprinkle that in there. But then in the 4th quarter, when they finally started making their comeback and they were able to take things away and they were able to, the Baltimore defense kind of tapped the brakes a little bit. I mean, how much does the game factor into pressure rate and non-pressure rate and how that outlines these numbers? Because I feel like it's not always a perfect number.
I mean, you can. That's why I don't just solely lean on stats, right?
It's all about the film.
I became more of a stat guy last year because I knew it was a weak spot of me.
Yeah, we finally got to you.
So I was like, okay, let me start finding a way to use stats to support the evidence that I have on film. And it's just like you go back to last week. Dak was responsible for 3 turnovers last week. 2 of them was through the air. Those 2 passes through the air, inexplicably, they're intercepted. They shouldn't have been thrown. They just shouldn't have been thrown. The one to CD in the end zone, that was cover 3. The hook defender dropped underneath it a little bit, made the window tough. The safety sat back there and just simply watched Dak throw the ball. He was like, thank you, appreciate it. There was no pressure. Bad decision. Okay, you go to the pass to Jalen Tolbert, the double post. It was just a bad ball. If you're going to throw that ball, it has to be on time, has to be a timed post. Okay, that means take your little 3-step drop from the gun, put your back foot in the ground, and drive that ball like a freaking rocket into his chest. You can't put that up and high because there's 2 over-the-top defenders. Bad ball, bad location, interception, no pressure. Dak has 4 interceptions this year versus no pressure. He has 5 touchdowns with pressure. So I don't know what it is. but they have to give him some higher precision passes, I'm thinking, because both of those interceptions, at least last week, were down the field shots. You think about the interceptions that Dak has, they're down the field shots.
15, 20 yards.
Yeah, I'm talking about even further than that. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
the red zone, at least 20,
Yeah.
plus 20 passes. You got to get him some stuff over the middle.
I'd be curious to see what the hit stats are for whenever he is getting pressure and not getting sacked. How many hits is he actually taking during that, and what the record is during that? I wouldn't even know how to look that up. But
that would be interesting. There's definitely something. Obviously, there's something to what Isaiah is saying. Absolutely, because it's like we've talked about this plenty of times when it comes to Dak Prescott. He actually excels against the blitz.
Yes, he does.
He does excel against the blitz.
Just means his instincts are crazy.
Yeah, my point for pointing out the pressures allowed versus blitz versus non-blitz is that it's kind of disturbing in how the Cowboys offensive line, which is upgraded, is allowing more pressure without the opposing team having to blitz Dak Prescott. So that's more of an offensive line stat where it's just like, hey, you have to force these teams to bring another pass rusher to help your tight ends and to help your underneath game as far as your quick slants and your hitches and things like that. Otherwise, you're going to continue to struggle at the second level.
what's funny to me is it all kind of stems from the run game too. You don't have the threat of a run game.
That's huge.
On top of all of that,
one thing handles the next thing, handles the next thing.
Yeah,
that's
all hand in hand.
That's tough.
I like it. Lab coat, baby.
Lab coat.
We're going to start doing it on Wednesdays just to get us a little extra spice of science.
Yeah, that Uno is big though.
Science.
43 and 13. Sacked 1.5 times or more, 35 and 35, and that includes being 0-3 in the playoffs when he's sacked 1.5 times or more.
Big time, big time. All right, when we come back, we've got to talk about the weapons on the Detroit side of things. They've got some dudes that you got to have some success against. More Talking Cowboys right after this.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we're going to overtime.
Erica, how much have I spent on concessions?
For questions about their money, Dallas Cowboys fans can turn to Erica, the virtual financial assistant in the Bank of America mobile banking app. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/Erica by your side. Bank of America, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Erica responses may vary. Digital tools featured require downloading the mobile banking app and may only be available on select mobile devices. Erica is a mobile feature only available in the English language. Your chat may be recorded and monitored for quality assurance. Message and data rates and additional terms may apply. Bank of America, N.A., member FDIC.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company. This segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Back here with Isaiah Stanback, Josh Rodriguez, Patrik Walker, Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. All right, guys, Cowboys defense versus this Detroit offense. Josh, what's the biggest threat that Detroit poses?
Oh, I mean, where do you start, man? They're the 4th overall ranked offense. Jared Goff is playing the best football of his career.
Yep.
I think he's the most confident that he's ever been.
No doubt.
Including his time with the Rams, where he went to Super Bowl. I mean, he was 18 for 18 last week, literally perfect throwing the ball
That's
last
wild.
week. And then the week before, he was 18 for 23. Just decisive, careful with the football, not making too many mistakes. He had 2 interceptions in the one game they lost against the Buccaneers. Their offense is really solid. The offensive line, is really solid. With Decker, with Zeitler, you got Sewell, and they're just blocking for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
They're just blocking for David Montgomery, who are the scariest running back tandem in the NFL currently. And I don't know if you guys know this, but according to all sources, according to the world, the Cowboys are not great at run defense.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. It's funny how that works.
Per the world.
Per
Earth.
But the last 2 weeks, they've held the Giants and the Steelers under 100 yards rushing.
And that matters.
That matters. They're getting better, but I think that this is going to be a tall task when it comes to running the football. And even if we are able to slow down the run a little bit, they just have some of the best weapons in all of the NFL when it comes to in terms of receivers. So they have Tim Patrick, who unfortunately had some terrible injuries the last 2 seasons of his time with the Broncos.
Yeah.
But suddenly he's turned it on in Detroit, and he is a guy. He is an absolute guy. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is reliable and also the coolest name in all of sports. And then just Jamison Williams, who is incredibly fast, who can take the top of your defense. And I'm worried about our safeties when it comes to Jamison Williams.
Speed.
And the speed of him. I mean, it's dealing with speed this year at all has been a problem for the Cowboys defense. That will be tough. And then also Sam Laporta, who unfortunately the Cowboys had a chance at and did not take. I know it was Kyle's pet cat in that draft.
I really liked Laporta.
And he's just turned out to be really
a dude.
Freaking good.
Yeah.
Really freaking good. So, I don't see a single weakness when it comes to the Lions offense.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I mean, sounds good, guys.
Fantastic.
Personally, I've enjoyed watching the Lions offense work. This is how I've built every Madden team that I've ever had. I've built it just like this because it is just a well-oiled machine.
What Josh is getting to, y'all, is they're even. They are very balanced. They are so balanced. Their offensive line, they invested in it. They took a hard 1 or 2 years in Coach Campbell's career to establish a character, an ethos for that team, and that identity is in the trenches.
Biting kneecaps.
Right? They weren't going after the star, skill position players. They wanted the big dogs that were going to literally be the hand and foot of this team. And these guys, they put those feet in the ground and they go forward. The offensive line is solid. The tight end group is immaculate. This is the best. This is when you talk about drawing up Madden teams. This is what you do in terms of running back room.
Yes.
This is how you drop a 1-2 punch.
Yep.
Bang, bang.
Like literally. Montgomery, talking about, we always talk about it, right? You got the hammer, okay, and then you got the guy that comes in and he just comes in with the staple gun. And just,
the fact that they stood by,
right? You have the combination of both, and these guys are talking about, they both make contributions. It's not like one guy gets 70% of the work, and another guy gets 30. Montgomery has 63 carries. All right, Gibbs has 54. Montgomery has 271 yards rushing. Gibbs has 285. They both are. This is the only tandem in the league that both running backs have over 350 scrimmage yards.
Yep.
They both have 4 touchdowns from scrimmage. This running back room is real. What does that do for them? Well, it just makes them the most efficient pass play action team in the league. When you're able to have a 2-headed monster like that, that's effective with an offensive line that's able to move you off the ball, it opens up everything. So you start talking about Jared Goff having a year of his life. What do we say that it's going to makes Dak the best? Dak Prescott the best quarterback he can be.
Run game and play action.
Run game, play action. You could be high precision passes when you have a consistent running game that is a threat that you have to come downhill and respect. Because if you don't come downhill and respect it, they're going to gash you with either the power guy or the speed guy, and it is a significant change in speed when Gibbs comes in the game.
Yeah.
Real quick, just to add to these, Lions have 195 more rushing yards and 5 more rushing touchdowns than the Cowboys do this season, and they played 1 fewer game. They played one less game, and they have that much more of a significance.
You're a jerk, Kyle.
I'm just telling you, this is literally the facts.
And you reminding people that they're coming off of a bye?
Yeah, they had 2 weeks to prepare for you.
I was about to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Detroit.
Sorry,
No, you're good. Bro.
Detroit, 151 rushing yards, 6th in the NFL, 2 rushing touchdowns per game. They're 3rd in the NFL. Dallas is 31st and 29th in those categories.
And not to mention, they're kind of mad at you.
A little bit.
They're a
You mean the
little
last time
mad.
they played here?
Yeah.
What happened?
That wasn't that
What
long
happened
ago?
last time they played here?
They failed to declare Skipper as eligible, but sounds like a them problem. But,
Well, now it's an our problem.
it's only a you problem if you let it be a you problem.
It was their problem in 2023.
Yeah.
Now it seems like it could be a problem.
All right,
now they are Debo and we are what's his name, Red.
I don't know. Just don't let your chain.
That's my mama chain.
Don't let your
Take your chain.
You got to go full Craig, right? So it's just like, oh, Debo's coming, and Craig is kind of scared at first, but then he realizes, I could whoop his, and does, right?
So are the Cowboys tucking in their chain, or are they taking it off?
Oh, neither. No, let it swing. Oh, let it swing. Let it swing. Let it swing. Don't tuck your chain. Never tuck your chain. Never tuck your chain. Never tuck your chain.
Hey, I was saying, Smokey took his chain off. Or not Smokey, but Chris Tucker took his chain off. It was okay. What's your name? Big Red. He tried to tuck his in and got it snatched.
Don't be red. When it comes, my mama give me that chain. Don't be Stanley either. Just don't be red and don't be Stanley. Okay, so no. Would you please stay off of my grass?
Come on, mess with these nice people.
All right. Pick your poison. Like all the names they said: Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. Pick your poison, because all of them are poison.
They all contribute.
Jared Goff is not the straw that stirs that drink. It is the running game, which then allows Jared Goff to cook with those receiving weapons and Sam Laporta that we're talking about, and. So you guys have done a magnificent job of setting the stage for what is going to be the biggest test for the Cowboys thus far this season.
More than the Saints and the Baltimore Ravens?
More than the Ravens. I don't know that it will be more than the Saints
I think
at that time.
Oh, I still think
at that time. Not the Saints that are on this slide right now, but at that time, that Saints team, that Saints offense was absolutely nasty. But I'll give you this. I'll say yes by virtue of Kamara stirred that drink from the running back room. You have Montgomery and Gibbs. And I would argue that Gibbs is better than Kamara right now. And then you add Montgomery to that mix. And so,
the Saints have more speed.
Yeah, I'll give you
collectively.
Olave.
Lions have more weapons. Saints have more speed.
Rashid.
Balance is what
so
the Lions have.
What you need to do is get to cut their heart out. And when I say that, I mean it has to stop. Well, number one, do your best to stop the run. But for as magnificent as Jared Goff's game was against the Seattle Seahawks, 18 for 18, perfect quarterback rating, 158.3, I believe, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Magnificent. That's not going to continue to happen over the course of an NFL season. You're not going to be that perfect again. Also, he has 5 touchdowns to 4 interceptions thus far this season. I just said he had 2 touchdowns against the Seahawks, which means going into that game, he had 3 touchdowns to 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
He will give you the ball if you force him into those opportunities to do so. Also, I will say this. What the Cowboys need to do, and Mike Zimmer, I know he's already in his bag working on it. Don't look at what the Seahawks did, because you don't want to take anything away from what the Seahawks defense did against this Lions offense. However, the Los Angeles Rams, for as much as they're struggling, they were able to hold the Lions to 26 points. The Lions won, but you were able to hold them to 26 points. If you hold them to 26 points and your offense does some work, you can win this game. The Lions lost against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs held the Lions offense to only 16 points. Hold them to 16 points, you should win.
It would take something like that to win.
Correct. Arizona Cardinals, they lost. The Cardinals lost against the Lions, but they held them to 20 points. Okay? Yeah. You have 3 NFL teams that have given you film and footage on how to slow down. And at some points, Cardinals did it. Oh, no, the Buccaneers did it to stop the Lions offense altogether. Now it just comes to personnel and execution. How disciplined are you going to be in your gaps and your assignments? Are you not going to play hero ball? Because the thing about the Lions is they tempt you into playing hero ball because they have so many Supermen. Yeah. Right? So it makes you feel like you have to be that hero and make this play. No, just stick to your assignments, trust the scheme, trust the personnel, that the guy behind you is going to do his job, and then the guy behind you needs to make sure he does his job. But it starts with bullying Jared Goff.
Yeah, you got to make sure and force him into a couple of mistakes.
And keep him inside. So DeMarvion Overshown, looking at you again, help keep Jared Goff, who can run, help keep him in the pocket so that your defensive line can do some work back there.
Adding to your point total conversation, the Cowboys have scored at least 20 points against the Lions in 13 consecutive meetings. That's tied for the longest streak active in the NFL against one particular opponent. They're 10-3 in those same matchups, and they've won every game against Detroit since 2013.
I'll do you one better, which perfect segue. Dak Prescott is 5-0 against Detroit.
Yep.
5-0. Now, that's on the offensive side of the ball. Defensive side, well, you know what? I'll save that for tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's a fun stat, defensive side for the Cowboys. But Dak Prescott has never lost against the Lions, and that's not to say he can't or won't eventually. That is to say that certain teams he knows how to play extremely well against. Ask New York, because the Giants know quite well. Dak Prescott versus the Lions, it tends to go in Dak Prescott's favor.
I think this is a different Lions team.
Yeah, agreed.
I think this is a little bit different. We'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow.
Oh, no, wait. I did it the wrong way. I did it the wrong way. That was the offense. Okay, so, yeah, we're talking Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis, Detroit native. Jordan Lewis has his last 2 meetings against Jared Goff, 2 interceptions.
Including the one he broke his foot on.
Yeah,
right?
and he didn't drop that, by the way.
He
So
did not.
Jordan Lewis knows how to play against Jared Goff. Jordan Lewis, if no other defender for the Cowboys gets himself up and ready to try to take down the Detroit Lions, it's the hometown kid, Jordan Lewis. And you just saw what he did with George Pickens and the Steelers.
Yeah.
Jordan Lewis is coming for the smoke, baby.
Coming off a good game.
He's Montez Ford in this thing. He wants the smoke. Jordan Lewis, get the rest of those guys ready.
Love it. All right, that does it for us. For Chris Beam, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik
That boy is good.
Josh Rodriguez, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long from Talkin Cowboys. We will see you tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!